Story 1. My fiance made me get plastic surgery to get engaged. I want to call off the wedding. I, 26 female, have been engaged to my fiance, 37 male, for 6 months now, and we're getting married next spring. Our relationship has not been easy, and we dated for 2 years before getting engaged, and he broke up with me once in between for 5 months. Right now, I'm so conflicted. There was a time I was so eager to be engaged to him, and now I'm lost. First off, I kind of had to give an ultimatum to get engaged, to which he responded he was not proposed all this time because of something in my looks that he's not attracted to. He asked me to get a specific plastic surgery to correct this issue and that he would pay for it, and only then he's willing to get engaged. So I went ahead and got the surgery. Anyways, we got engaged, and I can still tell he's not that attracted to me because the surgery didn't really make a big difference. Doesn't compliment me, doesn't really touch me or initiate things with me. He doesn't complain or bash my looks, but he doesn't rave about it either. But this isn't the worst of it. I'm currently in grad school, and he works full-time and makes over $500,000 a year. He is paying for the wedding and has rubbed it in my face on 2 occasions about how I contribute nothing, and that I basically never have the right to complain about anything ever because he works so hard to pay for things. I complained once that I feel we don't spend enough quality time. I just don't know if I'm making a huge mistake getting married to him. I don't want to be miserable. I'm so anxious. I don't feel like he loves me. He pushes me away when he's having a bad day and doesn't talk to me. I just feel kind of neglected in the relationship, but I also don't want to be a victim and consider maybe he's right about some things. Breaking an engagement off is so embarrassing, and this would be his second broken engagement, and I don't want to do that to him. I feel really lost. How do I go about this? The surgery I got was liposuction of my legs from thighs to ankle. I've always carried weight in my lower body. He says financially successful men don't like thick women and goes on to list all the successful men he knows and uses their women as reference. I figured he was right about this and he got the surgery, and I'm still trying to lose weight because the lipo didn't make a huge difference. Also, to those that ask what good qualities he has, I initially thought he was very kind, helps the poor, and goes on medical mission trips. He's a doctor. He is funny, and we actually get along really well when things are good. And I love his parents so much, and I really feel for them. They're older and want grandkids and want to see their son married. I don't think they realize how mean he can be. I'm not going to pretend his money is not appealing. I didn't grow up with a lot of money and watched my parents struggle as immigrants. I always wanted to make sure my kids will grow up in a financially stable environment. It's not really gold digging because I'm not a materialistic person. I don't care for expensive things. I just don't want to struggle like my parents did. To those who think I can get a prenup or divorce, our culture and community is very strict. I probably should have mentioned we are Middle Eastern, not Muslims. We don't get divorced. It's not an option in our church. He ended his first engagement, not her. He said she became too obsessed with the wedding planning and felt like a different personality of hers had come out after she secured the ring. You deserve better than that man. I am sorry. The fact that he's like, I don't want to get engaged to you unless you get this liposuction. What? That right there deserves, like, oh my gosh, he is going to need plastic surgery after what I do to him. Oh my gosh, I'm so mad at this person. I don't care that he's funny and he does medical mission trips or whatever. Fine. He sounds like a piece of garbage the rest of the time. He sounds like a bad person in general. And he has brainwashed you. He has power and influence over you. And he has just worn you down with the way he treats you, making you think you don't deserve better. And so much of what you're saying about staying with him is just like, oh, but I don't want to hurt his feelings, and his parents want a baby. Wouldn't it be so mean of me to break the engagement? No! No, it would not! It would be right! He deserves for you to leave. You deserve better. He deserves nothing. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for dating a guy I told my ex not to worry about? So, 3 months ago, I, 28 female, went out to a club as it was student night, which means £2.50 drinks. I went out with a big group of girls. While out, I met a male, 23 years old. I don't remember exactly how or why we started talking, but he was talking to me and my friend, and while we were talking, he realized his friend had walked off, so me and my friend told him to stay with us and hang out. We ended up spending the rest of our time there with him, and though he was talking to my friend too, me and him really clicked well. We were both in relationships, though, and made it clear this wasn't some hookup thing, even showing each other pics of our partners. But as the night went on and we got drunker, I admit it sort of felt like our interactions did sort of border on flirty. Some examples are, if we were walking through our crowded area, we would hold hands so we didn't get separated. I danced with him a lot, again holding hands, no grinding or anything. I did hug him a lot, and at one point he picked me up, and during a hug I wrapped my legs around him, and this caused my skirt to roll up, and he rolled it back down for me when he put me down. I pretended to be his girlfriend to get rid of a girl who was pestering him by saying, "Could you not flirt with my boyfriend?" and kissing him on the cheek and then holding on to him. At the end of the night, when I had to leave, I hugged him goodbye and we sort of accidentally kissed. By that I mean we both tried to kiss each other on the cheek at the same time and our lips touched. This was an accident and we both apologized and it was awkward. The week after, me and him ended up texting quite regularly, and we arranged, it was my idea, to have both our friend groups meet so we could hang out again. And we had good chemistry, so we thought our friends probably would too. Well, it went great, and now our friend groups are mixed, and I have a bunch of new friends. 2 of his friends have ended up dating 2 of my friends, one of them even being boyfriend and girlfriend. Unfortunately, though, my boyfriend was less happy about M. He didn't like that we texted. He hated the story of how we met, which I got as I can see how from the outside it looked suspicious, even though our intentions were innocent. I did introduce the 2 of them, and they seemed to get on well and were laughing around together, but then later that night my boyfriend started slagging him off for no reason, which caused me to argue because he was being fake. About 2 weeks ago, M broke up with his girlfriend. I'm not sure the exact details. I think they just sort of fizzled out due to being at different stages in life. She wanted kids, he wasn't ready. When my boyfriend found out, he told me he didn't want me to text or be friends with him anymore as he was now single. I said I'm not going to cut him off when he's going through a hard time, and that the idea that I know all of a sudden can't be friends with someone just because they're single is ridiculous. My boyfriend wouldn't accept that and said if I carried on being friends with him, he would break up with me. So I broke up with him then and there as I was tired of him acting jealous and controlling. On Thursday, I got a text from my friend who is in a relationship with one of M's friends. She said her and my other friend, who's dating one of his friends, were going to London on Friday for a trip and asked if me and M wanted to come. I texted him and he said his friend had asked him the same question and we both agreed we'd go. When we got there, things were different than I anticipated, and it definitely felt like a triple date. We did mini golf and then went to food and a cocktail bar, and at the end of the night, we decided to stay in London as we didn't manage to fit in everything we wanted to do. We all got hotel rooms, and me and M got one too, with 2 beds in the room. However, we ended up sharing a bed and making out a bit. The next day, we went out to Camden Food Market and then to Babylon Park, a giant arcade. We decided to stay another night, and this time me and M had to get a room with 1 bed as there were no double rooms. We went to a club and then back to the room. I ended up giving him head, but that was it. The next morning I woke up to 50 messages from my ex calling me a liar and a cheat and saying he knew that I was away on a triple date. I told him I was single and could do what I wanted. He kept accusing me of cheating with them, saying it was weird after a 3-year relationship for me to move in 2 weeks with a guy we had fought about and who I said wasn't a problem. I told him M wasn't the problem, he was the problem, and that if he hadn't been so jealous, none of this would have happened. He kept accusing me of gaslighting him and just being dramatic, so I blocked him. I told M and the 2 couples we were with, and they said he was just being pathetic and that everything was above board, but some of our other friends say I'm wrong for moving on so soon and with M. Am I? So, this is a complicated situation, but while I think that your boyfriend's reaction was a bit too much and giving the whole nope, no friendship stuff, that's not cool. So, I think that you were in the right to dump him for that. However, I don't think you're totally innocent in this. The way you're describing that first night hanging out and the accidental kiss and all this other stuff, That kind of stuff shines through when you hang out as friends, and I feel like maybe your boyfriend might have also been kind of reacting to seeing that. He was trying to play it cool, like, okay, it's a friend, I'll be cool, but probably saw you two interacting and could kind of tell that stuff tends to be really obvious to people around you and not so much to the people doing it sometimes. And so he might have been going off of that, and you being like, no, there's nothing. Like, you kind of admit that there's something. And so, while I think his reaction to that was too much, like him saying, you can't hang out with him anymore because he's single. Like, if I was him, I would have had a talk like, hey, I've kind of noticed that you two are a little more close than I'm personally kind of comfortable with, but I'd love if we could talk about this and, put my mind at ease or whatever. Like, just have an open, honest talk about the relationship. So he should have done that, but he didn't. But I don't feel like you're being 100% above board here. I feel like, no, I'm not signing with anyone here. It's all kind of hazy, but hey, maybe it all came about because you two just weren't doing that great to begin with, and this was meant to be. So, in the end, I hope that your boyfriend finds someone that he can be happy with. I hope you can be happy with them or whoever you end up with. And just call it a wash. Story 3. My parents want to give my sister the earrings my grandma left for me. This story is so weird. When I, 27 female, was 20 years old, I was in a relationship/friends with benefit situation with a guy, now 40 male. It was messy. We were on and off for almost 5 years. He was always clear he wasn't ready for a relationship, and I was always clear I was madly in love with him. Every time I got tired of the situation and wanted to leave, somehow he convinced me to stay because love is free. We have so much time together. He wasn't ready to commit. I asked my sister, now 42 female, and she gave me some crappy advice like making him compromise, leave stuff at his place, and basically turn him into a boyfriend until it was too late for him to say no. I never managed to do that because I wanted him to love me as much as I loved him, not trap him. During the last night I spent at his place, he said he wanted to try something more serious with me, talked about some dates he planned, etc., only to ghost me forever. It was hard. This was the first person I loved, and he treated me like crap. 6 months passed, and my sister came home. We both lived with our parents, saying she wanted to introduce her brand new boyfriend. She had tons of boyfriends, but she said this was the one. It was a dinner only with my parents at our home, so I was excluded and expected to just go out or chill in my room. The day came, and while they were dining, I ordered a pizza. I came downstairs only to find the guy I was with 6 months prior dining with my parents and sister. I was shocked, but paid for my pizza and went to my room again to cry. After dinner was over, I confronted my sister in front of our parents and begged her to not be with him, to be loyal to me, her sister. There was no way she didn't know who he was. I had showed her pictures of him, his social media, where he worked, and she even knew where he lived. They never met because they didn't want to meet my family and never introduced his, but she knew who he was, and she excluded me from that dinner because she knew. She said they met by chance after we stopped seeing each other. She knew how hard that rupture was. She knew how painful it was to not even have closure. He just stopped replying, not even blocking me, just left me there wondering after 5 years. She knew that during those 6 months, I was still hurting. I know how it was my fault. I was too naive and thought that if I stayed long enough, he would be ready for the relationship I wanted and would learn to love me. Stupid. I know. She defended herself, saying it was a coincidence and chemistry was there. She loved him, and she wasn't going to lose the love of her life. This stuff only happens once in a lifetime. When I was in my early 20s, I would believe that. However, now I know there are 8 billion people in this world. There's no one love of your life. You can find the love of your life multiple times if you look for it. My parents sided with her and said I should get over it since we never have a real relationship. My parents sided with her and said I should get over it since we never had a real relationship. 1.5 years have passed. I've been excluded from multiple family gatherings because he would be around and my family thinks I will bring negative vibes since I'm still bitter about everything. I have no feelings for him, but I feel betrayed by my sisters and my parents. He's just a piece of crap in my eyes now. My sister is now 6 months pregnant due to her age. She's been extremely pampered by my parents. She lives at home and is going to move in with him maybe 2 months after the baby is born. Then they're going to marry. In my culture, it's normal that if a woman gives birth, moves back, or stays with her mom, or so the mom will help with the baby for the first months. A week ago, my sister's friends made a surprise baby shower. I happened to be at home. I tried to talk to them. I don't know why. Maybe because my sister and I were too close before and I'm sad we're no longer friends. But her friends acted like I wasn't there and only replied to me with, yes, no, or silence, as I was the one that created this mess, or I was a homewrecker, or I tried to seduce my sister's man. I was planning to move already. I was saving money, etc., but after that I left immediately to a friend's house. I'm in the process to find my own place. 2 days ago, I received a call from my parents asking me to have a talk. I went to their house and they informed me that the diamond earrings my grandma left me will be given to my sisters. Those earrings have been in my family for 4 generations, and before my grandma died, she said the earrings will be mine and my sister will receive a gold necklace. Grandma trusted my parents with the earrings. There was no will or anything. She just asked to give it to me when I was mature enough to appreciate/take care of a family heirloom. Now my parents think my sister is getting married first and is having grandma's first great-grandchild. My sister should have it. I'm really mad now. They're robbing me of something my grandma left to me. I don't think my parents are evil. I think they were too worried my sister wouldn't marry due to her age. Again, in my culture, a single woman in her 40s is something to worry for her family. And now that she's forming a family, they want to reward her with everything. But I was the closest to my grandma. She made it clear the earrings will be mine, not my sister's. Not the first one to marry or have a child, but mine. After 2 years of being excluded in favor of my sisters, I gave the ultimatum to my parents. They give the earrings to me as my grandma intended, or I will cut them from my life forever. Not gonna lie, the idea of cutting my family off is too painful, but I feel they already made me and still make me so wrong I don't want them in my life anymore. I feel a little shallow fighting over this, but those are the only things my grandma left to me, and they are not entitled to them. I'm on this person's side 100% in every regard. First off, that person treated her like absolute garbage, for 5 years. Or, I guess he was clear at points, but kept, pushing her away and manipulating her, and then being like, now we're going to go on dates and stuff, and ghosted her. And for her sister to then basically be like, but I like him so much. I don't care that he was an absolute a-hole to you. Doesn't even get him to apologize to her or anything like that. It's just like, nope, I'm okay with that because I'm in my 40s and don't want to be alone. Well, F you, older sister. You're not a great person for that. So your younger sister is allowed to be angry if you're not going to try and at least get him to apologize and acknowledge what he did. And then for the parents to be like, we're going to give her the earrings that were supposed to be for you. What an awful thing to do. I'm sorry. I don't care how embarrassed you are to have, 40-year-old, single daughter and how excited you are that she's finally getting married off. I don't care about that part of your culture. You respect the wishes of someone who's dying. And when they say, these earrings go to her, and then you go, nah, we decided to go there. Nope, nope, nope. That you respect the wishes of someone like that. Sucks to the parents, sucks to the sister. I hope this person can get them to acknowledge that and apologize, but otherwise, friggin' cut them off. Story 4. Today I effed up by meeting corporate with a sausage, a mess on my lap, and buns on the floor. Today we had an unexpected visit from a corporate at my office. Technically, we're not allowed to have food at our desks. However, this is seen more as informal. Everyone, boss included, doesn't follow it. As long as we clean up after ourselves and are mindful of allergens, we are good. We just clean up when corporate visits, normally a planned visit. So my boss is coming around quickly saying that they're in the parking lot. I guess I missed the memo earlier this morning when I was in the bathroom. Anyways, I'm sitting at my desk with the most gorgeous bratwurst sausage on a bun, extra sauerkraut. This was purchased from the local international market down the street. In a state of panic, I think to myself, I'm not giving up my sausage at peak freshness and temperature. At this point, I'm halfway through. I begin to shove the beacon of lunch down my gullet. They're here now, doing a tour. Looks like my area will be last. I can do it. No, In my stupidity to rush eat, I choke on a piece of bun violently. I can't breathe. It's just a tickle that won't stop. At this point, my eyes are crying and my face is red from all the coughing. I drop the wiener on my lap. Sauerkraut everywhere, wetting my light khaki pants. The soft-baked buns explode and land on the floor in defeat. My boss and corporate come around the corner to see what's going on, and I'm there still coughing, albeit much less, with evidence of my rebellion on and in front of me. Sausage perfectly supporting the crevice of my thighs as I sat on my chair. All I could manage to say in a quiet, hoarse voice was, "Sorry." Not emotional, painful tears streamed down my face as my companion, through his battle, betrayed me. The buns deserved to be on the floor. I swear I almost crapped my pants. It couldn't get any worse in my mind. My career flashed before my eyes, and I imagined myself sitting on top of it. I think they saw the extreme horror on my face. Luckily, everyone burst out laughing, with a gentle reminder to not eat at our desks. I won't live this down, but it's definitely a story in my books I'll be retelling simply due to my sheer silliness. First off, if you're gonna try and learn to eat really fast, you gotta watch some, Beard Meets Food videos and stuff like that, you know? You gotta, squeeze it, go like that, you know? Seriously, you learn some techniques. You gotta be ready. You never know when you're gonna have to wolf down food really fast. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's downing wieners. I'm great at it. But you gotta practice that stuff, okay? So you can be ready. You never know when corporate's gonna come around again, and you're not gonna stop getting those. You know you're not gonna stop. You might not live it down. Ooh, those brats? They're calling to you. That sauerkraut? That in-house made? Is that in-house made sauerkraut? God damn, that sounds good. You go and you get one of those today, you hear me? And you scarf it down, and if corporate comes around, you just stand away from your desk and be like, not at my desk, but I ain't putting this wiener down. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.